Previously on The Guardians of Fehal. The party learned about Rowan's strange dream of seeing a man die. They also decided that trusting Slay, the strange creature in the aqueducts, was not a good idea, and found out from Lavinia that it was likely an aboleth, a dangerous creature from another dimension and likely above their pay grade. They then headed to the school to see the cadets from Una's village, meeting some of her peers, and seeing the Duchess leaving quickly with the Fesliyan city guard. On top of that strange encounter, they did notice that more of the city guard, not Hughes's branch, which is the city watch, but the actual guard, was more active in patrolling the city, and there was whispers of something happening in the noble district. The day ended after they had received pay for killing the monsters that they did do and warning the head of the aqueducts about the aboleth, who said he would contact the Duchess to have more of her mages go down and investigate and see if they can banish it. The day passed with an unanswered message from Rhiannon via the Sending Stones, and the party just did some shopping, heard more rumors, and overall enjoyed a day off. Finally, very late at night, Hans and Franz Andrew's character received an urgent plea from Rhiannon to meet her at 2 a.m. as Elaine, the Duchess of the Wind Plains, was arrested on suspicion of murdering one of the lords with black magic. So the session had left off with you receiving that message, so what are you doing, Hans and Franz?
Well, I was like, I jump out of bed and I push my brother out of bed. And then I turn to, so maybe I'm mistaken in this, I don't know. But I had assumed that our beds were all kind of close since we're kind of a group, but maybe not. Is that true? Yay or nay?
So, yeah, if you guys are in close quarters, you can probably snap, crackle, and pop them all awake.
Jeez.
How do you do that?
Hans and Franz is so violent, so he pushes me off, gets an elbow across.
I jump up, push Rowan out of his bed, then I jump off the top rope and give the people's elbow to Nora to wake her up. No. I'm about to wake up. Wake up.
Brother, why did you push me out of bed? I was comfortable.
Come with me.
Where are we going?
Just follow me for now.
It's so early. What's going on?
There's something happened.
Do we need our armor?
Who?
Yeah, I don't know how yet. Yeah.
Okay, then Una's gonna put her armor on.
Yeah, Nora will start getting dressed.
Yeah, yeah.
I was told not to, so yeah.
All
You
right.
were told not to get dressed?
No, I wasn't told not to put the armor on.
Oh.
So yeah, put it on.
It's going to take Hans and Franz a bit to put his armor on, so he's going to sans the armor and just take the shield.
As a note,
Maybe
because this
get the gambeson.
As you guys know, because this guild has a magic user, Lavinia has enchanted basically like a clock, some sort of magical clock, so you guys can sense, like you can have like some sort of like notice of what time it is and you can see the soft little it basically shows where the moon is in the sky or the sun, and looking at it as people who live in a society where you can tell what time it is by where the moon is in the sky, you're like, okay, it's probably midnight. So she gave us like 2 hours just so you, because she said meet you at 2 a.m.
Okay. Not probably. I guess I'm not doing as much as I thought.
Maybe it's
What?
1. We'll say it's 1 a.m. So
Put your
like,
armor on, brother.
she would have given you guys a bit of time because she knows you have to go through the city.
Well, I mean, she technically did because... Oh, wait, no. Hans and Franz got the response, like, right away and was like...
Hey, what's going on?
Okay, yep. So armor on, shield at the ready.
So may I ask why we're going?
You might not. No. So once we're like out in the streets and there's nobody around, I'll blah what Rhiannon sent to me.
What? Arrested for what?
I think for the matter of the thing that Rowan may have seen. Maybe. I don't know.
What did Rowan see?
Oh.
I haven't told
Didn't I
him
tell
that
you?
yet.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
No.
no, you only told Hans and Franz.
Yeah, and Nora.
Because Una and
Yeah,
Hans and Franz were
Hans and Franz
good.
would,
Yep.
Hans and Franz
Yep.
would know that. He probably wouldn't say that.
And above table, when you guys were talking about it, like we're like, oh my god, guys, what if this happens simultaneously? That was a crack theory. Like that
Yeah,
was
that
an
was- that
above
was-
table thing.
Yeah, so yeah, Hans and
didn't
Franz knows that nobody else knows, or as far as he's aware, nobody else knows about, so he wouldn't have said it. I mean, I some sort of noble. I don't know. I just told you everything I know.
I don't remember if she said which lord it was that was dead.
No,
No,
she
just
didn't.
a noble.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. So that's why we're going to the meeting.
Okay. Because we did see Lady Elaine when we went to the college. She was walking with the guards.
Yeah,
Didn't think they were, taking her away. I thought she was like, "You coming with me?"
yeah, I thought she was just like, I've got important royal business to go about, but maybe that wasn't it at all.
Is there an increase at night still? Like, do I see, like, is there a higher level of guard presence as we're walking through? Still?
Give me a perception check, and also yes, there is. And you guys get to the city gate, and normally there are guards who kind of like wave you through. But at night, this time at night, normally they just kind of wave. First of all, give me high or low.
Hi! And I have a 15. 15 passive and 15 on the die.
Okay. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
All right. They are not guards you normally encounter because you guys have gone through the gates tons of times. There's a chance you're like, I know some of the guards by name. It's not ones you do know, but you do recognize their uniforms, and they, stop you and ask, "What's your business in the city?"
Oh, my friends and I. So it's like 1:30ish in the morning, probably, or
By
20
this
after one?
point, it's probably 15, 20 after 1. Because each of these squares is a block.
is
they're not-
is
How far did we get into, like, is this
You
a
guys are
real
right.
bar?
You guys are
Or-
No, because the guild is right here. So you walked about 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks to the southern city gate, and you got to that gate, and you're getting stopped and asked what your business is,
so.
which is unusual.
Una will say, we are on city business. We were told to go into the sewers, and
Wait a minute, though. 'Cause
I was trying to say something and I was waiting
Oh.
to not be interrupted again.
sorry.
yeah, that's kind of the thing. Is like I'm not trying to retcon it, but he did start answering first,
Nope,
and then
that's
he
totally
wanted
fine.
to know what time it was. So yes, Andrew started the conversation.
Okay.
I will honor that.
First, quick question: how late are bars open?
Usually they can be open till 3 or
Okay.
4 in the morning, so it's not completely uncommon.
What was the bar that it was something? I keep calling it the Cock, but
Well, there's
The
the
Dandy
Dandy
Cock?
Rooster.
the Dandy Rooster. And that's inside the city, right?
No,
Nope,
that's
that
outside
one's
the city.
that's in
What's the
Backwood.
college bar?
the
The
Novice.
novice.
The
The novice. Some friends of ours invited us to meet with the novice. So I'm to go meet them.
Okay, give me a persuasion check.
Oh, 7.
They don't let you pass. They're like, no one is allowed into the city at night.
No one's allowed in
Especially
the
this
city
time.
at night. We come to
No,
me
we
all the
have-
time.
We have orders to not let people just come and go through willy-nilly.
Well, we're members of the guild. I mean, we're not exactly willy-nilly, whoever that is.
Yeah, but you don't need to go drinking, and it doesn't sound like it's urgent business, so...
Need to go drinking? What? We're not allowed to go about our business?
Not right now.
let's just go to the Dandy Cock instead. And Una will kind of like nudge Hans and Franz and start walking around.
I guess if we're not allowed in the city. Have a good night, folks.
You as well. Whoever.
Madams, I didn't catch this up, so.
All right.
I didn't catch any pronouns.
They were masculine presenting, but you never know. You didn't ask for their pronouns.
I didn't. That's on So once we get like a block away, can we just use the aqueducts to get in?
There was no out, right?
So the option for going through the aqueducts is you could go through. There is a place that it went out because when you guys were under the guild and you found the old part of it that broke,
right?
They repaired the section that broke was in the guild wall. You do know that like that was an offshoot of the main aqueduct that came and dumped into the Dakra. Mm-hmm. So you could go in through there. Try to get in there.
Could we just go in through the river? Is that an option?
You'd have to go in through the river, and you probably would have to go underwater because there is a gated area.
Nope.
Do we have the writ that was given to us to go monster hunting in the sewers?
Probably.
Let's just say that's what we're doing then.
If that doesn't work, then I'll use my stuff from Lady Rhiannon.
Yeah.
What your language instructor thing?
Yeah, his
cultural
his
instructor, my ambassadorial.
Sorry, why did
I do think we should try a different gate. It might take us a little longer.
I'm assuming. I was assuming we were walking up towards the other gate up by the face steps.
Yeah, because like
if the Dandy Rooster is over in the Backwood district, or at least through there, these guards are going to be none the wiser that we are, just going to go right on past.
Yeah, but you could definitely go up there.
And we'll just play it off like, why would we go hunting during the day? The monsters in the sewers don't go out during the day. Easy enough.
So wait a minute, though. Where are you? Are you going to go into the gate through the face steps, or are you going to try to get into the aqueducts first?
Face
steps.
Face steps gate, using the writ to get into the sewers.
Yeah, so we're telling them that we're going to an aqueduct access.
To fight some shit.
Oh, so you're not going to go in through the aqueduct here?
No.
Basically, we'll probably just play it off like we were working in this very specific area of the aqueduct, so we need to get back to that entrance.
Okay. It probably will take you about like 25-30 minutes to get up to this gate, so you are getting close to 2:00 at this point.
Can we jog and run?
Remember, brother, no running in the streets.
That was in town.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you could try that and cut a little bit of time off it. Otherwise, like, I'll just say, like, walking up there is going to be, like, 20 to 30 minutes, like, so it would be getting closer to 2. Otherwise, if you just tried to get in through the river and went straight up, it would be about the same amount of time. You just have to go.
We don't have a way to get under the water to get up there.
Yeah, so let's just do the gate.
I mean, the writ's a writ.
Okay.
We now have legal business.
All right. Go, you guys get up there, different guards. These ones are, like, don't know who you are. You give them that explanation. Still give me a persuasion check, but this time with advantage because you have a much more convincing thing with the document.
Oh, 22.
All right, that is enough. They believe you. They let you in, and you guys are in over here. So,
and we had the kiss by one of the bridges, right?
Yeah, because like you guys left the playhouse, which is right over here in the Petals district.
Oh, so we're right where we need to be. Right?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's actually smart. So you know, it's between this area of like over here. So you guys can keep talking. Was there anything else you wanted to talk out before you met with her, considering you had like a 30-minute walk up to the face steps and then like a quick 7-8 minute walk over through the gate to like do towards the school?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So do we have anything? I mean, if Lady Elaine has been arrested, what are we willing to do about it?
I mean, we probably need to see what Rhiannon says. You know, if she has an idea, maybe we investigate what maybe actually killed this noble. If we can, maybe Rhiannon knows who it is.
Who killed him?
No, who the noble is. I mean, if she knows who killed him, then that's a better lead. But
like okay. But then, would we try to investigate on our own? I mean, I'm assuming they've got investigators that'll be there.
Yeah, but maybe, most of what happened is set up to make it look like it was Lady Elaine.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is we may not just be able to waltz in and go, "Hi, well, with the guild."
And we're here to investigate a murder. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound too convincing.
Pants or whatever his name is. That was insensitive. He's dead.
Since I've been in the city for a bit longer than you guys, I don't think that plan of action will work. The city guard is usually pretty close-knit. And us being like, hey, we're coming here to help might be kind of a slap in the face.
That's exactly what I was saying.
I mean,
I don't think we're going to be able to just waltz in.
Maybe we could talk to Hughes?
That's a good idea, yeah. Yeah, I guess the big thing is let's see what Rhiannon has to say.
Yeah. Brother, where are we going?
Just right up here.
What do you mean, the flower petal thingy?
No, right, what says here we are, right there.
No, here we are is where we are.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
That's where we're going, right here.
Right here?
Because here we are, born to be kings.
Universe.
Yeah. That was kings.
No, princes. Okay.
So,
Franz looks around.
So, where is Rhiannon?
I don't know. It's not quite 2, I guess.
I gotta look up at the moon.
Yeah, it's
Is
probably
it 2
close.
o'clock?
It's probably close to 2.
Go check my moon dial.
You guys get close to the area, where you think she met, and then kind of you hear a whisper from one of the alleyways, and then you hear like a whistle.
Somebody catcalling us?
Yes, and then you see a cloaked figure kind of pull back into the alleyway, and you hear a voice in your head. It's it's me. Just walk down the alley so no one can see us meeting. What? Why are you laughing?
Yeah, no shit. Who else would it have been?
I'm just clarifying. I'm just clarifying.
Guys, this way. Over here.
Okay.
Don't mind us. We're just walking into an alley.
It doesn't look like there's a guard around or anything currently, so you guys are able to kind of slip in, and through kind of some back alleys of it looks like more of empty, they're probably not inns, they're more living houses and stuff that are more upper
The houses are alive.
What?
Yeah.
No. Mimics.
Upper middle class. And then you see
The worst kind of mimics.
You see a figure in there kind of wearing a cloak, and it looks like riding leathers, and it's as you get closer, for those of you who have night vision, it's clearly Rhiannon. She has her hair combed brown and looks very relieved to see you and very exhausted. Yes, Andrew.
So she can comb her hair different colors?
Yes, she explained this before. That's why
It's her
whenever you
magic
guys
comb.
Yeah, she has a hair
She didn't explain it to me. I wasn't here.
She explained it to
Yes.
the whole group.
She did, because she combed it out in front of you after she got done riding Sureblood, and you're like, oh, that's cool, you can change your hair. And she's like, yeah, it's a comb of coloring. It's how people don't notice me as much.
I don't remember, therefore it didn't happen.
Anyway, so yes, it's clearly Rhiannon, and she looks very tired, very exhausted, and very stressed.
Rhiannon, are you okay?
Nora's just gonna go up and hug her.
She accepts the hug, and you're surprised, like, you can feel like there's a lot of shaking emotion in her, but she's pretty, like, her face is kind of like very serious. So, I mean, not okay, but I don't know. Everything today is chaos.
So tell us what happened.
She like rubs her forehead and she's like, I went to arrive for breakfast tea this morning with Lady Westwood and her daughters and came upon a house in chaos and ended up staying to be questioned because Lord Westwood was murdered last night by some sort of magic. So I was mostly just there to have tea, and then that had happened in the middle of the night. The household was in complete disarray. I made the mistake of staying and trying to just comfort Lady Westwood and talking to her and the servants, and then by the time the Lord's Council arrived not much later to investigate, they wanted to ask me questions, and then I was just there all day. And then finally, later in the morning, when Elaine finally showed up, they wanted to know where she had been and why she wasn't anywhere to be found this morning. So eventually, at that point, I was taken back to the school, but under city guard, and then I wasn't left alone in my room, which she kind of like pulls out the necklace, is like, I'm sorry I didn't respond until much later.
I'll just kind of, wave it off. It's no biggie. Because Lady Elaine wasn't anywhere to be found this morning, that makes her a murderer? That seems pretty flimsy.
They're not sure. It's, from what I understand, because after being in my room under guard all day, two of the lords came to talk to me and said that tell me Elaine was under house arrest until they could get more information and clear her name of any misdeeds, as she was not willing to give an alibi of where she was last night. And unfortunately, when Elaine was late this morning, they had asked me if I knew where she was, and I said I didn't know, and they asked if I was around her last night either, and I wasn't, so I said no, not really thinking, but I didn't want to lie because I just didn't know where she was.
But yeah, you don't. If you lie and they find something else out, that's not good either. But out of the tens of thousands, however many people are in this fucking city, out of the tens of thousands of people in the city, one lady doesn't have an alibi, so they arrest her. That still seems very. Did she have like beef with this guy? Who was this guy?
Lord Westwood and her have always had a very stressful relationship, but they had most recently been arguing very fiercely. You give me an intelligence check, or an intelligence check, a history check, Andrew.
Okie dokie. 19. Ooh. With a natural 20.
Andrew, you're thinking about the name Lord Westwood and what he did, and then you think about it. You met him.
I thought so.
Yeah. He was one of the ones who offered you a job, and it was to become one of the, join the monster hunting squad.
Yeah, join his squad of racists.
Well, yeah, not exactly, but yeah. They're basically...
He won't allow...
Yeah, he won't allow elves and fae creatures to join because his house historically has fought against incursions from the fae realm. So yeah, he is racist, but
biased against demi-humans.
So yeah, you do know who that is. Anyway, Aaron, you had a thought?
What kind of magic killed him that she would be the number one suspect?
The most that I understand from the servants was he was working at his desk late at night, and then they heard screaming, and guards came into the room and servants, and he was like wrapped and attacked by some sort of like dark mist shadow. They all described it slightly differently, but it was some sort of shadow of sorts. And it attacked and killed a few of them as well before it killed him. And he was screaming in agony, screaming nonsense.
What sort of nonsense?
She's thinking for a minute. What did they say? He kept screaming the same word over and over again. What was it? She's thinking. Kept screaming something about wheat.
Oh, see, my guess would have been ouch, but
Oh, you think that Josh's face is like, ah!
Yeah.
Because I bet it's wheat.
It's finally coming full circle.
Hans and Franz is very much like eyes like shifting towards Rowan, and then like
Just like complete, just like slow turn.
But she's like, I don't know, it was nonsense though.
But so then
Elena-
why does that make them think it's like the line?
It's mostly because she doesn't have an alibi, and she refused to answer them where she was, and said she would only talk to she would use Lord Ebelin as her explanation of where she was. But he is not in town right now and won't probably be back for at least a couple days.
Who's Lord Ebel?
He's the master of the naval fleet. He commands all of the forces at sea up in Breakspear.
Okay.
She said she would only confide in him where she was, because he knows that secret.
So, maybe this is a very silly question, but if she's the ruler of these lands and they're her god,
You mean her council?
No, these gods that arrested her.
It was the Lord's Council that arrested her, at least to investigate, because they thought it was suspicious. They knew they had been fighting, and they claimed it as they needed to investigate to be sure and clear her name.
So who on the Lord's Council would want Lady Elaine to be arrested? Wait, so from the description that Rowan gave me, and now knowing who Westwood is,
Yes.
do I put those two together?
What, that you knew who he was, or?
No, that the person that Rowan dreamed about murdering his face off is Lord Westwood.
I mean, Westwood sounded like that. But you don't know for sure. Rowan just said it was like a man in his 40s who kind of had graying hair and a ponytail and was wearing nicer clothes. It was a little bit scarred and stuff.
Do you have a plan? Do you have something you want us to take care of?
I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go right now. Right now, Elaine agreed to be under house arrest with them and go through the normal procedures of investigation. So there's a couple ways this could play out. They could investigate, find nothing. They could it doesn't feel like a coup. All of them seemed incredibly shocked by this, from the ones that showed up this morning to the Lord's house. And I don't think everyone on the council would approve of just replacing her. I don't think you could help investigate who murdered him or would know anything more than me, but...
Would you be able to get us access to where it happened?
Probably not, but, well... I mean, I could try to call upon the lady of the house for tea, and I definitely know where he lives, but...
No, we don't want you to put yourself, out. I mean, it was something like, if you could just get that in, great. If not, I mean...
I don't... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Una.
I might be able to sneak my way in if that's what we want to do. But I don't think I can do much more. I don't think I can get more than just one of us if we went in that way.
Best I could do is some sort of animal disguise that would get me in, but Not sure how helpful it would really be.
Well, from the house itself, there wasn't anything really other than, his body, which is now in the hands of the temples and everything being investigated. But
Rowan, didn't you say something about wheat? Like 2 weeks ago?
I know I've talked about wheat.
a month and a half ago.
When we were in Meyerfield fighting the ghosts, when they would shriek, I heard the word wheat. And Rhiannon, I feel like I can trust you enough to tell you. Actually, I think I've only told Hans and Franz and my sister, but I had a dream. This was a few hours ago, right? Like, not very long that I had the dream.
It was like probably a day ago at this point.
A day ago? Okay.
Yeah, exactly 24 hours ago.
Okay. I had sort of a dream, vision, not sure which, yesterday. I believe about Lord Westwood being murdered.
Rhiannon processes that and is very surprised because it's just like, what? And then she's like, her first thought looks like she's going to say, are you saying you murdered him? But then she doesn't actually say that. Like, she thinks better of it, but then she just keeps thinking about it. I knew it was him. I know he's responsible. I just can't prove it.
Who's that?
Rice.
You know who
else would benefit from Elaine being arrested?
Oh,
who else would use the wheat around his estate?
You heard the ghosts in his place say wheat. Has anything else weird happened in Meyerfield that would connect it to it?
On the way back from that trip that we escorted Song on, he was out with a bunch of guards that one time and we weren't sure what was going on. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. It was kind of a move on over while they were off.
They were off.
They
in
were
the
just hunting.
distance.
Yeah, they were off hunting. Maybe they're hunting the greatest prey of all time.
I don't know why he would want Westwood dead then, other than to make Elaine look suspicious. He knew they were fighting. In fact, I know he egged it on. I was at several of the dinners where they talked, and he would always bring up the fact that Elaine wanted to integrate the force.
I mean, what was Rice's feelings toward Westwood? Was he indifferent? Were they staunch allies?
Westwood was a holdover from her father's council, and he was very well respected, so she kept him on. But Westwood would have probably seen Rice as more of a traditional heir than Elaine. But I never saw them be buddy-buddy, although it is weird that I remember Una and Nora at TU told me that there was ghosts in Meyerfield and he didn't do anything about it. And I did think that was odd because he does know Westwood and could have had somebody from his group investigate.
Jan said he let his people be tortured in a way. Tormented, that's the word I'm looking for.
But Rice has never shown any inclination to do magic. He never went to the academy. He's never shown any magic prowess.
I've never been to the academy.
That doesn't mean
Neither has Rowan.
Yeah, okay. But that doesn't mean that he can't hire someone who knows magic and can, manipulate spirits, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he's working with another group, and getting the leader of the monster hunters out of the way is a good way to open up, Fesliyan to attack from larger prey.
I don't feel like Rice is that intelligent. I just think he wants to rule here, but I don't know.
But if he's not working alone, other people have better ideas sometimes.
All I know is at least Rice, if something happens to Elaine, regardless, this damages her reputation. But I don't know if why, other than causing tension between the murdering Westwood, seems like a step too far.
Yeah, it might not have been Bryce, it may be somebody else. But if we can figure out what killed him, when that gets us one step closer to proving that it wasn't a line. But I don't know what a shadowy monster is.
Yeah, and I'll explain sort of everything that happened in my dream.
Actually, Rowan, give me an intelligence check. Or actually, it'd probably be more wisdom.
Well, both of them are +0, so let's just
Yeehaw!
roll the dice. Oh, that's a 13. 13.
You're thinking about it a little bit more, and as Hans and Franz is like, we've never fought mist shadow things before. And you're thinking about all the instances of where, like, something similar weird has happened with, like, your vision, where you get that really uneasy feeling and, like, creepiness. You have had that happen a couple times before. The first time that happened was after you heard the voice in your head. You guys were coming back from Windvale, and you encountered that decimated fairy circle that had, like, some sort of ward up on it that gave you a headache. There was, when you guys went through Meyerfield to go to Ramsgate to go get Song, you felt really uneasy in the city. Not like the actual full-on headache, but just something didn't sit right with you. When you went through Queen's Rest and you actually fought those shadow monsters that had desecrated and poisoned that celestial spring for the elves, you also felt bad, and you do know that those were like shadow mist monsters. And then when you pass back through Meyerfield again, it was the same weird, uneasy feeling. So
I just thought of that connection.
Yep.
I'll sort of blah.
No, I must hear it in Aaron's voice. Or Rowan's voice.
We've experienced mist, smoke, I'm not sure what monsters before. This is the same thing that was plaguing Queen's Rest.
Down in
yeah, with Josh and Andrew.
Yeah, those two cool dudes. Man, I miss those guys.
I think you missed that, Megan. You were gone that night. They demanded to know who these random elves NPCs' names were, and I couldn't think of anything, so I just said their names were Josh and Andrew.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
they were
made
really
for a
cool
very
too.
interesting time.
Yep.
It's very confusing.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was the mist with like the water thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
the well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it specifically did psychic damage to Josh, and it caused you guys to see things you were afraid of.
And that was when I had the vision of
Getting
like
stabbed through the chest
yeah.
with some sort of black crystal, yes.
Which that's always a fear of mine. I'm not gonna
Yes.
Oh, wait,
There's
it was
like-
the black crystal?
Yep.
I thought for some reason it was red.
Nope.
Well, there was blood on it, but
It was a dark
So-
crystal red with blood.
So
There's
did
so
we
many
know
little
what
corruptions.
those things were down in the well? And whose lands were those?
I guess all of you can make a.
I mean,
I'm
we're kinda
asking
speaking out
Rhiannon.
loud, and
Oh!
Yeah, I'm
Rhiannon's
asking
there.
Rhiannon.
No, you're asking the bar. Hang on a minute. I must look up what her
Asking the
stats are.
gal who's from here.
Yeah.
She's not from here.
Well, she's got all
I
the
mean,
noble
yeah.
nonsense. Thank you.
I know.
In the lore of Game of Thrones, all of the nobles are supposed to know all of the different noble houses.
Boom. And their lands.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, from the entire United Kingdom.
Yeah.
All right, let's
They
see.
have a UK and
I
Game of
also have-
Thrones?
I have to look at what her ability. Okay, for history. Oh fuck. Okay, so that's a 10. Queen's Rest. I know it's not one of the
No,
main.
Queen's Gate.
No, it's
I think it
Queen's
was
Rest.
Ramsgate that we went. Ramsgate
Damn
and
it.
Queen's Rest.
Queen's Rest is the town.
Rather, you're
where
confusing her.
No wonder she rolled so low.
Yeah.
Queen's Rest. It's the one with the story about some sort of queen that stayed there and drank from the well and got well, and Sacred Spring. I don't remember the house specifically. I know that technically it's sworn to... Which house is it sworn to? Sworn to House Dasturnus, which is one of Lady Elaine's most loyal supporters, and probably one of the main voices on the council that is going to be speaking against her from being arrested. But
So maybe that well infection, or whatever you want to call it, was also caused by the same person. Try and, bring trouble to Elaine's allies.
maybe. Dasturnus is always been somebody who hated rice, so that wouldn't surprise me.
I will say that we do know of quite possibly one group who would be upset with Lady Elaine.
Who's that?
I mean, we just took down some of the people.
Oh.
Oh, you mean the
The first
venerable?
ones?
No, they're not they were working with the Venerables and not the Venerables themselves.
The first ones?
Yeah.
The Selkie kids?
Well,
It is
Well,
possible. We do know where Lady Elaine was, and we understand why she's keeping the secret. We could
do?
see if we could reach
wait,
out.
what?
Yeah,
I don't know.
she brought my father
Cadet.
and the rest of the council here, and last night she brought them back, stayed there at the village, and then brought the cadets back today. That's where she was. And the reason why she's keeping it a secret is for the benefit of my village,
Oh,
which is why she's waiting for the Lord to come. But I hate to see her like this, and if she's willing to wait to speak with the Lord, and we're patient enough, that'd probably be the better way to do it. But I could somehow reach out to the chief and see if he'd be willing to come as an alibi. But I don't know if they would accept his word either.
So do we know where Lord Navy Man is?
no, brother. The more important question is why Una now is upset that Lady Elaine is in this situation.
Well, I'm just going to try and...
I'm not upset that she's in the situation, but I do feel guilty that her assisting my people has put her in this situation. And as a member of my village who have caused this distress, and her keeping this secret, it makes me feel more willing to assist her on
Okay.
behalf of my village, not by myself. I am looking
Okay.
past my personal feelings.
Okay.
Well, good
So-
for you.
So do we know where this Lord Navy Man is?
Evelyn went home to break spear, but I believe will probably teleport back within a day or two if the Lords summon him. Which I'm assuming they would want everyone present to go with this investigation. This isn't going to be an overnight thing unless it's an actual coup, which I don't know if it is. I don't think it could be. I don't think there's enough people in the council that would want to get rid of Elaine.
So we
How
don't
would
have
they
a
do
quick
it?
way.
What? She kind of looks between the two twins.
Which one just said that?
Which one? Wait. Which one of you said what? So she looks at you, Josh, as Hans and Franz first. What did you say?
How would they stage a coup? Like what would be the process? Is there like a vote? Do they get to execute it really fast? Is there like a tournament to see who's the Lord of Fehan?
There's a few ways when nobles have gone on trials before historically. They normally have it more drawn out, and doing a ruler of a nation is a very complicated process. There's going to be an investigation into the events. There's going to be witnesses called, There's going to be an investigation by the Lord's Council and probably an extension of the various leaders and holy figures of the temples. If Elaine submits to it, they'll probably do Zone of Truth on her to see if she'll confess and such like that. If they will probably interrogate her immediate household and her spy master, which, as far as I know, he also went with her under arrest and has been taken for questioning. And well, wait, let me finish. They will, if they decide there's a need for a public spectacle to remove her, which is what I think would be likely if they wanted a coup, they would probably hold some sort of official trial to make sure the public views their actions as legitimate.
Well, and I would assume that they would have made her arrest much more public as well.
Yes, and they haven't announced it to the public yet, so it's hard to say. And if worse comes to worse, if the public trial does not go in her favor, her last ditch effort as a noble is to do a trial by combat.
With whom?
Yeah.
Either the accused fights on their own behalf or appoints a champion to fight on their behalf, and then the prosecuting side and the lords would choose a champion to fight that champion.
Also, the people that oppose her have to, publicly declare that they oppose her.
It's only if the trial doesn't go in her favor or she feels like there's a legitimate case that justice would want served.
I mean, ADC Mist was winning tournaments. I think if it comes down to that, she should be okay. But we also don't want it to come to that. So my question is, do we have an easy way to get a hold of Lord Navy Bean?
We can start by breaking Rice's legs.
Brother, shut up.
Was that your original question, Hans und Franz, when you spoke at the same time as your brother?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, more or less, but yes.
I can try to meet with him whenever he comes back.
Well, no, but
But I don't have a more direct way as of right now, unless I I could try to get a sending scroll and send a message to him, but he doesn't really know me that well. He just knows me as Elaine's ward. I haven't, he doesn't.
But I mean, we may want to warn him, because if the people who are accusing her, if somebody there is working against Lady Elaine, and they're like, okay, well, if the only way she can get her name is from Lord
Evelyn, at least to validate her alibi, yes.
Then why then you take him out?
I might be able to get word to Lord Dusternus. He and I know each other better, and as she's thinking about that, you see her pause for a minute.
What's the matter?
I could try. I thought of another person maybe to help, but I don't know yet. But if we get Lord Dusternus, I could try to talk to him and see. Him and Lord Evelyn are friends. He might be trying to warn him already.
Who's the other person?
Who, Lord Dusternus?
No, you said there might be another person.
Oh, well, it depends on if we're going to do any breaking and entering.
I mean, we know a sneaky person.
Yes, Una.
No, I wasn't thinking of Una.
No.
Who do you know that's a sneaky person?
I mean, we can't always reveal our sources.
Well, she met him already.
Do I?
Oh, Una. Yes, the one from the Thieves Guild, right? Yes.
Quick question,
yes, Aaron. Yes.
I forget if Rowan knows or if Aaron knows that they know each other.
Aaron knows that they know each other. All of you above table know that they know each other, and very well.
But none of us were.
Hans and Franz. I was talking about this with Lauren the other night, because at the end of that session, Hans and Aaron or Andrew said, I'm going to talk to her on the way back about this because it's weird that like they just, I don't know, they seem to know each other. But then he got distracted by them kissing and then completely forgot about it. So it's super funny. So anyway, actually Hans and Franz, give me an insight check.
Yeah.
Nora, you're also naturally insightful and have called her out on her bullshit before, so you also give me an insight check.
Okay.
4 total, Andrew.
That's indeed what he got.
It's a natural 1. It's red. That means
0.
red.
Oh, you have a 0 wisdom. That's right.
Yeah. No, I've got 0 wisdom. Yeah, you're right.
18.
It's a pretty good poker face, but you sense that she's pretending to be dumb, like she doesn't remember who this person is, but she clearly does. But
Oh no, you can't give our sources away.
But she already knows him. They've already met at the play. So it would make sense that...
I don't think
Guys.
it's worth keeping up the ruse.
Okay, fine. We know someone, his name is Felix. He is a super sneaky guy.
she looks at Nora.
Yeah, and I think you two already know each other, don't you? I mean, you guys bought a present for Nora for a birthday together.
That
It seemed kind of weird for two people that
That
know
was-
each other.
that was pure actual coincidence, but I do know who they are. They might be the other person. They might be actually one of the only other people that might be able to help. Although I'm not sure how.
You
Well, I
speak
mean-
as if you know them better than we know them.
I do.
Well, right now it's not important.
Okay, I'm just a side note, like,
What?
Megan is just like freaking out, like, blah, blah, blah. I want to know what she's saying.
Dude,
My lip reading
she's
is
so
a part
part
of-
of the Thieves Guild.
Got
She's
it.
100% a part of the Thieves Guild. I'm
Rhiannon?
calling it
No.
now. Yeah,
No.
she is part of the Thieves Guild. How else does she know all these secret tunnels to get out of the city and sneak out and about?
Because
She's
she's a
part of
college
it.
student.
Nope, she's part of it. She is
Or-
a member of
or-
the Thieves Guild.
Or Felix.
Felix is
Or-
a noble.
Yeah, Felix is
That's true.
a noble, as a
Which I think is a little bit more likely.
more
here.
believable.
Nope.
I don't know. I kind of
Poquito.
like.
I choose to disbelieve.
I like Megan's theory better.
Dude, she's totally. I'm calling it now.
I do know him better than you.
How so?
I don't want to betray his secret too much or give too much information, but I met him when I started going to school here. And then he went away and I wondered what happened to him, and I thought he was across the sea doing work, and he was in Pagan hiding and apparently working for the Thieves Guild. So that tells me that he is under some sort of deep undercover mission.
Okay.
I didn't recognize him at first when we met because he doesn't normally look like that.
What does he normally look like?
So pending,
That's like the Felix that we know.
I don't 100% know because Lauren has never really established in fine detail what he looks like. Lauren, since you're eavesdropping, do you want to give a vague concept of what you think he looks like, or do you want to keep that secret? Because Rhiannon doesn't have to say. She could just say he looks different. Lauren, are you dying of laughter?
I am dying. Yes, yes, it is official. I mean, it depends on. I would argue that at this point, it depends on Rhiannon and how much she's willing to give away, because, the more puzzle pieces they have, the more easily they could put together his secret. And
I don't think they would actually know who he is, but yeah.
And if he
Anyway,
was uncomfortable, I'll just be like,
yeah,
it's not a big deal right now.
yeah. He
We've
just
got
looks
Much bigger
different.
concerns.
He just looks
Um,
different, but he might be able to help, at least with breaking and entering. He's actually the one who taught me how to break out of the school originally. And helped me get my slippers. So
So, Felix is a noble?
She shrugs.
I'll have to ask him about it. No, I
He's
won't.
probably not going to be happy about it, but
Okay, no, that's fine. I won't ask him.
Anyway, he might be able to help us.
So,
but I don't even know what we're doing yet.
Yeah, that's where we're kind of meandering here like small children.
I have a question. Is there anything that we can do or any information that we can collect to help either prove Lady Elaine's innocence or help accuse Lord Rice or whoever is actually?
I think we would have to find motive of why he'd want to kill Westwood. And that would probably either mean breaking into his house or trying to find something that would implicate Rice did magic to murder him, which...
Well, he doesn't necessarily have to do the magic himself. He just has to have control over or know someone who can do said magic, which it does sound like he has a very far and devious reach.
Well, I mean, one of the first things we need to figure out is what sort of magic is this?
Rhiannon was going to say, I know Rice has a house that him and his family stay at in town sometimes that he's not, I don't think he's currently at, because as far as I know, he left the city days ago to go prepare for the Harvest Festival, but that's kind of the other option is he is throwing a Harvest Festival, and I did get invited on the 16th.
What day is it today?
It's the night of the 6th, so tomorrow would be the 7th.
Oh, or today would be the 7th because it's like 2 in the morning.
Oh, that's right. It's the day of the 7th.
It's like a 1-day ride out there. Was that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we've got roughly 7 or 8 days to try and figure something out in the city if we want to go out to this Harvest Festival to get some more answers.
That sounds like the options. I wasn't planning on going, but I do have an invitation.
Yeah, I don't think unless we absolutely have to, but so
I don't know. I don't know how you would all go. Well, I mean, there are local villagers that come in around there to party and stuff, but I mean, that's separate from the nobles event. I would have to find a way to get you into the keep.
Well, I think if it comes to that, we'd use Felix to go in and look around while we stay outside and keep watch. But you would be...
That is assuming that Felix wants to do that.
Yeah, that's true, but so again, we're getting far ahead of ourselves here. One thing we really kind of need to know first is what kind of magic is this? Because that will tell us who can cast such magic. And then we know who to look for, or what sort of item to look for.
We could try to get books from the library. That would be my thing to do, but that would be
we could always ask.
Are you thinking of the lady from the guild?
Mm-hmm.
You can just ask her everything.
Evangelica?
Lavinia,
yeah. We could maybe ask Lavinia. She seems pretty smart. She was the one who figured out that it's probably an obelisk in the city.
Well, in the sewer.
Well, not in the sewers, in the aqueducts.
Yeah.
That is also the other thing that we should probably take care of as well.
We took care of it to the best of our...
We're not taking care of that.
Lady Lane is arrested and Lord Westwood is dead. I mean, do you have somebody else to go talk to about it?
I was gonna say this is a stretch, but like, is there any way that, since I've had such a close, I don't want to say connection because it's not like a connection, but like interaction with this type of magic, would I have any sort of inkling? I'm not trained.
You're not trained in Arcana.
But like, is there any way that I could describe it?
Probably not.
Could he use this guy's self? Well, it also depends on if he saw it as a third person or as the person.
I saw.
If you
saw
were
it
Nagini
person.
or you saw Nagini do it.
I was Nagini.
Oh.
But you could get like kind of the front bits down.
A disguise self only works if it's a humanoid. You can't just become anything.
I couldn't become a fire elemental.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we know anybody else who's good with the magic stuff? Besides a very own Lady Rhiannon here.
I mean, I'm sure that the mages at the school are going to be trying to argue on her behalf as well if the lords talk to them. But, I mean, they're all her. They're all in play.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to... Yeah. They're kind of in her pocket, even if they're actually not.
What about the shopkeeper in...
Windvale?
The goblin one? Oh.
No.
No,
she was
Oh, the one that had the tower.
Yeah.
Christiana, the one that gave Josh some magical making notes.
And sensed something about me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how would we contact her, though?
Sending would be an option. But Windvale is a 4-day.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 4 days through the woods, and then like 7 by road. 4 if you roll really well on your survival checks, which with a ranger.
Well, how long does it take to get a sending scroll? Because Rhiannon was going to do that for reaching out to someone else.
Yeah, I could try to get 2 from the school. I'm sure.
Now we've got a bit of money. We could try and buy one in the city.
That might be smarter because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be watched very closely since.
Yeah.
Probably also being quite careful of what comes in and out of the school magic-wise right now.
Oh yeah, we almost couldn't even get into the city.
Oh, I wondered if they were going to lock the gates. I'm glad you guys were able to get in.
No, just guarded it and, put you under a little magnifying glass and was like, where are you going? What are you doing?
So just kind of a heads up, if we do need to meet again in the evening, the more notice we have, the better, because then we can try and get into town before nightfall.
I could try to forge something for you, but to look semi-official. But if it's for me, then they're going to be wondering why I'm...
Yeah, we don't need to link you to this.
Well, we have the writs already that it doesn't really have an expiration date. And...
Well, no, but that's also... If we can just be in town before the gates close, that'd be the best. Okay, so, Rhiannon, if we go buy those scrolls today, how do we get them to you? Because I doubt we're going to be getting into the school.
Well, I don't know. They might let me resume language lessons as long as it's... I don't know how much they're going to keep an eye on me. I don't know if they... I think they were afraid that maybe another attack might happen or something, but...
I can try to send Spuriel to your window, if that would work, carrying them. Or do you think that'd be too obvious?
He's noticeable as a puffin. Maybe if he was a more
common...
Yeah, more common.
But even still, a bird carrying a scroll.
Carrying 2 scrolls.
Yeah. That might be a bit... But we can always try, using me first. And then we can go to... Especially if we do it at the night, use like a raven or something.
I mean, we could make it... I know that they planned on having... We'll see if I'm still probably going to go to classes. I'm sure I will if they don't want to raise too much suspicion. So
yeah, I would think so,
if I can
too.
keep a normal schedule, then I could have my cultural ambassador, language teacher, come for a lesson or whatever, and we could exchange things there, but that might be the most immediate thing. Josh!
Excuse me, sir, what was that?
I don't know what she's talking about.
I'm talking as a DM.
So, it's getting late, Rhiannon. You should probably start making your way back, especially if you have class tomorrow. So we'll try and get 2 sending scrolls in the morning and bring them over. What time would be best for me to swing by?
let's say 1 in the afternoon. Otherwise, can you try to get a hold of Felix as well, if you have a way?
Yeah, we can try.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Megan's face.
we have our ways. They're not always appreciated by Felix, but yeah.
I feel like he'll need to know about this. And this might be more direct than if they don't make it public, but
Well, I'm assuming with the higher god presence, thieves guilds kind of tend to have the finger on the pulse of a city pretty good. So maybe Felix will seek us out.
I don't know, maybe. He seemed frustrated with you. How exactly did you meet him and the Thieves Guild? I don't know if I know that story.
What do you mean he is frustrated with us?
Because, brother, we're loud and obnoxious and not stealthy, and somebody keeps giving away secrets in front of everybody. It's not always the same person, and I'll look between Una and my brother, but I get it. And I was like, we're loud and boisterous. He's a quiet person, likes his secrets. So I get it. But we met him when we were...
The job, when we rescued Guildmaster William's son in the swamp.
Billy Wills.
Bobby Billy or
Bobby Billy, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, when we rescued Bobby Billy's kid.
Bobby Billy the kid.
I was gonna say Willie Bob, but yeah, that works too.
She laughs and she's like, that does sound like something he would do. Although he'd pretend he wasn't really doing it for that reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably enough for tonight. Oh, sneaking into the school is going to be so much harder. That's the reason I made this so late, was I was trying to watch the guard patrols as much as I could.
We could try for a distraction again. But
no, don't draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
I was pretty unnoticed, and I just had to walk under the bridge instead of over top of it. Like upside down.
That's a good way to do it, I guess.
That's partially why I have a headache.
Get lots of blood to your head. You might pass out.
Well, under terrible circumstances, but it's always good to see you, Rhiannon. And I'll reach out and just kind of touch her arm. Good luck getting back in.
Just whoop.
I'm so sorry. It's just so funny how you're like, hey, it's okay. Yes, sir.
No, a little squeeze.
I know.
Hey,
touch her arm.
It's okay, yeah. She squeezes your hand back, and then she says, kind of looks at the others and then just shrugs, and then she kind of takes your hand. She's like, it's not too late to change your mind.
My mind is unchangeable.
Yeah, it's true.
Shut up, brother.
I'm all over the place right now. Since I, couldn't talk for the first half.
You're like, wait a minute, all the things I thought about earlier and I couldn't think of because I had a baby screaming.
I remember as the smoke monster flying over the city into Lord Westwood's house.
Yes.
Do we know where Lord Westwood's house is?
You could ask her.
Yeah, you could ask her. She would say that Lord Westwood lives on the far northwest side of the Noble District, way over on the edge here. And that his house is right borders the wall.
He would be in the super dreary one out of all of those houses.
I didn't plan that originally.
Right?
And then I was just like, oh yeah, this is weird.
Just the most bleak, depressing
Secondary
house.
question. Where is Lord Rice's house in the city?
Rhiannon would say it's more on the far right side, so it'd be over here. So it'd
the
be
east side of the keys.
Yeah, the east side.
The
of the
eastern keys.
Yeah.
But in your vision, you didn't see a wall, though, did you? Like the city walls?
I soared over a stone wall, then a river, through a village, then through a window.
So you came from the east. So you came from like the far, far east. If you flew over the wall first, over the river, and then down into the window.
Are there wheat fields?
Probably northeast.
Outside the wall on the east side?
There's probably wheat outside. There's a lot of fields and grains and great grazing areas and stuff for animals outside the city. So, yeah. Do you guys want me to pull up the full region map? I probably should.
No, that's fine.
No, that's okay.
I'm fine. Yes. Saying goodnight again. She takes my hand. Are you sure? I said, yep, my mind is unchangeable.
I said it's true.
And I'll give her hand like a good squeeze.
I think because she just doesn't care, she'll lean in and give you a kiss. She's obviously more of the affectionate one. And that's why when you did that, I'm like, is he friend zoning her?
No, it wasn't like it was like a reassuring, like, I'm here for you if you need me.
I know.
Like, it wasn't like a, hey, buddy. Jeez Louise. Y'all motherfuckers need to get your shit straight.
No, but she'll kiss you and then say, all right, thank you all for helping. It's so weird. I didn't really think you guys could do anything, but it just felt like you were the right people to talk to.
And there's always something to be done. And if you send enough lunkheads at something, you're bound to turn up something. And
we've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but this is pretty serious, and so we'll take it seriously. It means a lot to you, obviously.
If worse comes to worse, I have to figure out if Elaine is found guilty.
Found guilty.
They'll either exile her or they'll kill her. And I don't know. I doubt the Lord's Council would stay in position for very long, but if Rice is going to be put in charge, I might have you I might take you up on that offer we made when camping.
Yeah. As
much as I don't want that to happen. I don't want to go back home yet.
Oh, it's understandable. But we'll try and keep that from happening.
Rhiannon, one thing before we go. Have you heard anything regarding Lady Seamus?
Lady Seamus did not follow, is not under house arrest. Elaine and the spy master went willingly, but she specifically, from my understanding from Lord Griffin, who talked to me today, and she says the high priest of the temples, of all the temples, Itarate, when they talked to me, they said Seamus is currently not under house arrest and is merely waiting like I am. So she might be an ally I can talk to as well.
Yeah, she may be able to point us in the good direction too. All right.
And you part ways.
Would you guys like me to try to follow her to make sure she doesn't get stopped?
No, because then that puts you at risk. She knows this. She's
quite
good.
Capable.
Yeah, she's good. We don't need you getting in trouble.
But maybe from like a distance, just to make sure she gets in okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, if I stick to the shadows and if worse comes to worse, I get into the water, I would most likely be unseen. It would be extremely difficult see me, it might not be the worst idea just to make sure she doesn't get into too much trouble.
Can you cast invisibility while you're in the water?
Well, not while I'm in the water. That would be my own ability. But if I stick to the shadows, I am very close to being invisible.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I get how
nice.
you disappear in the water.
Yeah.
Hans and Franz isn't always on the top of it. He doesn't get that turning into a Celtic and going, or turning into a seal and going down farther is, yeah. All right. Thank you, Una. Appreciate it.
Then
That's what I
I
appreciate
will.
about you.
I'll stalk and stealth behind her.
Okay.
The best
Yeah,
of my
Rhiannon was
ability.
standing as you were discussing this, and then she'll leave, and then just know that you're going to follow from a distance. So,
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll probably be like 50, 60 feet behind her, or maybe even 100 feet.
all right.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah, I was like, you're not going to roll Una because, like, you're literally invisible.
I'm literally invisible.
And
Before she
Rhiannon's
leaves-
on this. Oh, go ahead.
I would say meet us over near the. Is there a place near here that we frequented, or?
Well, we could go to the novice. That's pretty close.
Yeah, I would have said
No.
meet us, right, like in the
Maybe
novice.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
she
that
would
bar
say-
that we passed, didn't we? The pedals?
No, that's
And
a district.
Oh.
Yeah, she would probably say not the novice because I could be recognized there easier, but there's a few other bars around there, and she'll give a name of one or something called.
Who says that?
Rhiannon.
Her. If you told her to meet, where you were gonna meet or something.
No,
Oh,
we're not meeting
no.
her.
No, we're not meeting
Una,
Rhiannon.
not
We're
Rhiannon.
figure out where our group is going to meet up after she gets back from following Rhiannon.
Yeah, we could just go to the novice. I mean,
Yeah,
we've
just
been
meet us at the
there.
novice. Yeah, meet us at the novice.
Then I'm gonna sneak into the shadows and disappear, and then stealthily follow behind her.
You'll never see me.
You'll never catch
You'll
me
never
on that.
know.
You'll
Um,
never catch Hans and Franz alive.
Brother,
Yeah.
do we want to get Felix's attention? Like, leave the dog bowl overturned or whatever we do?
It's the feather.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
For ease of use, you follow her back. She gets back in. There's a couple close calls with the guards that you can see when she's like around the bridge area, but she does make it back over the wall and stuff. So you're like, okay, I can't follow her anymore past that. So Una, I'm not even making you roll because you're invisible.
What? No,
So
I'm not in the shadows.
when Una gets back, so we should probably find an inn for the rest of the night because we can't leave the city.
Do we want to go to the one that's attached to the place where we have to drop off the feather? Right, because that was
Which one is
9-2.
Yeah,
What the
that was
fuck did you just say to
just
me?
that was just a tavern. I don't think
Oh.
they had a place for you to sleep there, but you could go.
Over in that district.
Yeah, because
Which,
that was
so yeah, we'll meet at the novice, make our way over to the billows, find an inn.
Yep.
Probably not a tavern, just an inn.
yep.
Get a room for the night, let us know how much. And then like probably spend like 20 minutes before we all crash out, just try like kind of planning on like, so where do we want to go to try and get, so we got the people that made the sending stone, they may have scrolls. Una, you've been buying scrolls like a crazy person. Can we go there? They may have sending.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can try.
Because the guy who, okay, so I remember this. You bought healing potions in the very first session. You went to buy them from the unicorns. Buy unicorns potion. Oh yeah, it was a balding and chubby half elf named Aiden, and he flirted with Nora. And oh my god, in my notes it said Hans and Franz 100% doesn't trust him, and I don't know which one it was, but it was.
I mean,
I think you can
only
guess which
assume.
one.
I'm
That's
just
funny.
gonna-
as
I'm
I
well.
don't know if he was crushing on Nora that early. Come on now.
He was flirting with her, but whatever. So
And that early? Okay.
Yeah, so he just had potions.
Yeah, we just want to go to the people that you get your scrolls from.
Yep, which is the guy who, the elf dude who knows Sienna and yeah. I think his name starts with a G, like it's Gavin or it's Jared or something.
We'll call him Gary, and then we'll call him Jerry, and then we'll call him
Larry,
and then we'll call him Larry.
And then we'll Barry, back to Gary.
Barry.
Yes.
And finally back to Gary.
Yep. So we've got the plan for tomorrow. Go get some scrolls. If Una and I do that, do you three want to try and meet with Felix?
We can
okay, sure.
Yeah, because if we go buy those scrolls right away in the morning, then I've got to get back, probably shower, bathe, get, a little more dressed up, and then go head up to the academy right away.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right, ready, break.
Break, yeah.
Okay. So the night passes, you all sleep, nobody has any weird out-of-body experiences, and you wake up in the morning. I'm assuming you slept in a tiny bit, so it's probably, instead of your normal 7 to 8 o'clock you wake up, it's probably a little bit more like 9 when you get up, since you were up in the middle of the night, roaming around. But the day is yours.
Okay, so the first... Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just say Una and I would probably immediately make our way to the Magic Man to get the scrolls.
Get the stuff.
We need the
Una
good
will
stuff.
probably drop since we're getting up first, Una will probably do the harpy feather and at the end thing as well before we go.
So the way
unless we did that last night.
You could have. The way I figured this out, that Felix would have told you how to get in contact, he would have given you like a drop box to leave a feather in. And he would have probably
we figured out where his home
no,
base
but he
was.
told you after he came to visit again at the guild, don't do that. Here's a drop box, leave a feather in it. I will come to this guild area, because originally he was going to leave a feather if he needed to get in contact with you at the guild. So he gave you a drop box to leave it in. So he would have either told you, Una, do it when you can't be seen at all, or preferably send a rando to go drop it in there.
Yeah, I would have probably done it last night then in the cover of dark then.
When you're invisible? Okay. So you could have done it last night.
What were the three of us doing?
Going to wait for him.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Ready, break.
I was asking Lauren, what time does Felix check his drop boxes?
Noon.
Oh,
conveniently right after the Hans and Franz Una hour.
Hans and Franz Una hour. Okay, so you guys head over to go pick up scrolls, and you don't really have an issue of it. He does have some in stock, so he figures out how many do you need.
All of them.
A scroll with a third. Yeah, a scroll with a third level. Is that rare?
Yeah. It's expensive.
Okay. 1,200 gold per scroll.
How many do you have?
I have 8.
Okay, we can't buy them all. 2 is what we can do. And that'll completely tap out the party fund and me.
Oh. Why are you paying for it out of pocket?
Or do you want to pay for it? How do we want to split it? The party fund can cover 1. And wipe out the party fund.
Okay. Yeah, 1,200 on it.
And then you're just going to drop the other one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 8. I have enough. It's fine.
You have 8,000?
How do you have 8,000?
I didn't say that.
You said I have 8.
I think he
No,
meant
I said I have
800.
A, and then I was like, never mind. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
okay.
Oh.
He doesn't want to reveal his secret will.
Yeah,
He's
no,
the leader of the venerable
Yeah.
criminal
That
empire. He's trying to disrupt the monarchy system, so it's going through crime.
I mean, I was gonna ask Rhiannon earlier, why so serious?
God.
Okay. Well, so yeah, party fund covers 1 completely and leaves like 10 silver in the bank.
I thought we had a lot in our party fund.
We've all been separating it between us. We've only been putting in a little.
But we always dump into the party fund as well whenever we get paid out for something. Like
Someone's embezzling funds.
I'm not. I've been writing here.
Did you put in the 7,000 from the last job you just did from last session?
We did some.
But we split that, right? It was in 7,000 per person. It was split, and by splitting it,
right.
That was after we split it. But we only put we put like 100 platinum, and that was it.
So that that would be 1,000 gold. Yeah.
We put 10 platinum. That's what we did in the bag of hold, like for the party. So it's 100 gold, right?
No, it's
It's 10 platinum. You just add a 0.
10 times 10.
Yeah. So we just put 10
gold.
platinum from that 7,000. We split the 7,000, right?
Amongst
that
5.
Seems odd.
I have no idea.
Did I miss a 0? I could have missed a 0. Because that's 1,000 platinum. Yeah. No, I had it right. Because we have 145 platinum. So we have like barely anything left in the bag. But we pretty much have spent most of it. And it's 1,200, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
1,250 or 1,200.
12. Was it 1,250? I thought it was
12.
12. Okay. So that would leave us with
25 platinum.
Yeah.
25 platinum.
And
250.
64 gold. And 10 silver.
So we got 315 gold.
Yep.
all right. Well, that's what we needed to do.
All right, you buy your stuff. Some
Then
of
I
y'all.
want to go back to the guild and get cleaned up.
Okay.
Una will buy one of the sending skulls as well for 1,200.
Okay.
Man, this
Just
guy's
to have
sitting
it.
pretty in one day.
I know.
And
3,600.
We came in. We need 3 scrolls of sending. Here's my money.
Pretty much. We didn't even negotiate or bargain. How did we barter?
Hans and Franz wouldn't, but I thought you would. Like if you would have been like,
so
well,
uncharismatic
maybe
like
Hans
that.
and Franz would have went along with it, but
No, I am uncharismatic and I have no bartering skills or persuasion. Like I just like, oh, okay, this is what it is.
Hans and Franz has those abilities, but he's trusting and he's like, okay.
I mean, to be fair, you did cut down the price on the sending stones a lot from him.
Yeah, that was out of necessity.
Actually, in fucking hindsight, those sending stones, what were they like? Were they they weren't 2,000, were they, or were they 1,000?
They were almost 3,000.
I was like, because I'm like,
They're
man,
expensive.
if the sending scrolls
Yeah.
are the same price as the sending stones, I way undercharged you for those
Yeah, no,
sending
it
stones.
was expensive.
Anyway, okay, so you go clean up. All right, so Megan, after you buy that, are you gonna go meet them at the original?
Yeah, at the guild.
Okay.
Where we're supposed to meet Felix's meeting
okay.
spot.
I don't remember the name of the restaurant is, but we're just gonna leave that as is. So, Lauren, are you there? Delay.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it was something to do with Shepherd, the place where he met them. I was looking up some more recent notes.
Are you ready
Lizzie,
to go
I was
on?
looking at more recent notes.
Are you ready to go on, or do you want Andrew to go first with visiting Rhiannon?
I'm good with either.
Oh wait, Aaron is away.
Aaron currently is
Okay,
away.
so-
I am trying to find the name of the restaurant though at the moment. Or yeah.
Well, you got time. Rhiannon!
Yeah, I'll go up there, a little before 1, get there a little before 1, and show them my paper.
Yep. Looks like there's an official city guard standing there with the the normal elven guards, and they follow the procedure, send a note, and the guard is like, who is this for? And they're like, oh, this is Lady Rhiannon's language instructor. He normally comes by for language lessons in between her lessons every few days or so. And then he's like, the guard is kind of like nodding, like, okay, but kind of is a little bit like, all right, noted. I'm making a note.
You have been put in my notebooks.
He specifically does take the thing and look at it and then just verifies that it's legitimate. And the elven guy is like, yeah, I told you what. Like, kind of annoyed. Like, I know how to do my fucking job, dude.
Yeah, you've been looking over my shoulder for 2 fucking days now. And I'm ready for you to fucking piss off back home. So fucking jog on, bud.
Yep. The little leaf with the message comes in and he's like, yes, she is ready for her appointment. So let's call him Simmons. I'll have Simmons escort you into this academy. And he's like, see, we escort people in. We don't just let them wander willy-nilly, like at the city guard. And the city guard is like, no, I'll stay here with you and keep watch at the gate. And then Simmons basically escorts you on the normal path to her. You do notice there's more city guards kind of like walking around the school and patrolling.
Oh, I wonder if that's because of us. That comment about letting people just wander willy-nilly when we were waiting for the students.
I actually didn't think about that when I said that. Maybe.
The Hansman's like, yeah, I would not leave with that.
You're escorted up, and basically there's guards kind of like chilling outside her. There's a couple extra guards, like even just elven guards up in there, like the normal. When I say elven, there's a lot more elven guards that are employed at the school, and there's school official guards. There's a couple city guards up there, and they're basically like, Simmons is like, he's here for his language lesson, and the city guard kind of like gets up and stands up to kind of like go in like with you, and basically follows you into the room, and then Rhiannon and like stands up very formally and says, thank you, Hans and Franz, for arriving today on time. And she kind of like looks at the city guard and is like, you do not need to stand guard. I am perfectly safe in here. And he's like, but it seems unwise. And she's like, there's no more threat than normal to the school. I appreciate your diligence, but there's no reason to stand guard. And it takes a little bit of like persuasion between her to kind of get him to just chill the fuck out and leave. But while you're standing there, she's kind of just acting like you're just there to do your job, and she's trying to make it seem like nothing.
Yeah, I stay very like,
oh yeah, I'm just
nonchalant as well, and like, this doesn't concern me, kind of thing.
Yep. And then finally he leaves, and she's just like, it's been like that with every appointment. It's like they think a shadow is going to come out and just strangle me suddenly.
I mean, I have some good fear of that, so due diligence is all right, but yeah, I get it.
She says, were you able to get the... How much were they?
I did like 1,200 a piece.
Okay. She's like, I don't think I have that on in cash, but I think...
Oh, no. We didn't. I am expecting to get reimbursed.
You spent like a lot of money. It's fine. I don't think I have that much in cash, but hold on a minute. And she actually leaves and like goes into her room, and then you can hear like kind of like clunking through stuff, and then she like comes back with like jewelry pieces with like diamonds and sapphires or emeralds on it, and she's like, I think this might be enough for like.
Oh, that's not. Okay, I'll take half.
No,
we'll cover one
keep
of the
this.
scrolls.
I got this from a cousin I absolutely hate. You can keep this.
Okay, only for the party fund. Anything cool in there that like I could wear? No, she got it from cousin she hates. Nope, never mind.
Well, she just doesn't like wearing it herself. That doesn't mean she would care if you wore it.
Okay. Well, anything cool in there?
There's like a silver necklace that has like some diamonds and like sapphires or like no emeralds, and then it has like these kind of yellowish stones on it. I don't remember what the name. They're not. It might be topaz, like yellow topazes.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, topaz is like a yellow or an orange.
Yeah. So yeah, she gives that to you, and she's like, "I think this will be worth.
Nothing
I think
cool.
this will reimburse it." Yeah.
Thank you very much. Is
Sophia around?
Sophia. I was gonna call her
No.
Nancy, and I was like, oh, I don't think it's Nancy.
No,
Sophia
you don't see her around.
Okay. Is Sophia around?
She's currently on errands. I'm having her run business and do things around the city just to see if she can hear any more whispers and anything. Were you able to contact Felix yet?
The message had been sent. They might be meeting with him right now. I had to come to the appointment, so I don't know. I'm assuming so. Felix is the kind of person who seems to have the set in his ways. And if he said to put a note here because I check you often, I would assume he would check it often.
I'd hope so.
So, have you heard anything yet this morning?
No, I was allowed to go to my classes, though some of the guards followed from a distance, and it looked very suspicious. But so far, I haven't heard anything from any of the other lords, so I'm assuming they're just doing investigations.
Does it seem like they're following you more than the other nobles?
So 25 on her insight check. A little bit more, but I think that is probably because I'm the most politically important if something happens.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I was just wondering, yeah, this is all very weird. I do have a question.
Yes.
I suppose you would ask her, like, you would quietly ask her, like, if we need to, like, put on a face of doing some sort of lessons, or if we're, like, far enough away from the door, they won't be able to hear us out there.
They're far enough away, they won't be able to hear anything out there. And I do have my pin, which I can use to call for help, so I should be fine. We should be in relative privacy. But she's like kind of laughs and is like, I don't even know what to do. It feels like we should focus on doing a lesson, but also I don't really feel like studying, but I also don't feel like thinking about this.
Yeah, I understand how that goes. Sometimes keeping the mind busy is one of the easiest and the hardest things to do. Well, let's start with, I'm trying to think.
The ABCs.
No, I'd probably, because it's not just language, it's culture as well. So I'd probably like think of a story, just kind of like a happy sort of children-y type story, where it's like the kids get into a spot of bother, but in the end it all works out, kind of thing. Just something that would like keep us busy for like a half an hour and just try and like get her mind, out of that rut.
She kind of like gets reasonably distracted with the lesson and stuff like that. Otherwise, if there's nothing else you really wanted to talk about with her or anything, no.
Yeah, not anything in particular, no.
She kind of makes a couple jokes about like, well, this is a fun first date.
Yeah, he would probably like sit down on the duvet or whatever the hell she has.
The couch.
Yeah, the settee. sit down close with her.
The Davenport.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever those fucking nobles have. Like put an arm around her and tell her the story and sit and chat. And then probably give her a kiss before he leaves and say, good day, ma'am.
All right. She definitely seems like, especially like at first when you guys are kind of going over the stories and stuff, like you can tell it's harder for her to get like focused on like relaxing, but once you get more physically like relaxing around her and put an arm around her, you can feel more of like the stress leave. So definitely feels like a physical touch kind of person and quality time love language where she's like, I'm immediately settling into my happy place.
Right.
And stuff like that. So she's cool with it. She'll kiss you back and kind of say like, well, you can come for another lesson tomorrow.
That's probably a good idea. I'll probably send you a message this evening on what we learned from Felix. But yeah, at 1 o'clock again tomorrow work.
Tomorrow I do have a class between 1. Why don't you come for dinner instead?
Sounds good. If something changes, I'll have another sending stone available tomorrow, so I'll send you if something changes.
She kind of like, nods, gives another kiss goodbye, and then kind of like sends off very professionally and kind of like acts like she's at her table, like, doing work, and like kind of like gives you like a little bit of a wink and is like, you're dismissed. But it's like so fake.
I'll open the door to leave and like turn and like give her a formal bow and then close the door behind me.
You can see her face was just like
and then I'll stand up straight after closing the door and then
leave.
I'll ask the guards if somebody needs to escort me back.
Yeah, they'll escort you out.
Is it Simmons again?
Simmons would have gone back to his post, so one of the city guards actually will walk you out and stuff like that. And
I will chat him up a bit.
Oh, okay.
So I've been up to see Lady Rhiannon a couple times for language and culture lessons, but I've never seen this many different uniformed people. Do I need to be worried for her safety?
Give me a persuasion check. I gotta.
Oh, it's a 9.
He doesn't take it as rude. He takes it as clearly fishing for information. He's like, nothing like and then kind of like looks you up and down like language teacher needs to worry about. Like kind of like you're a language teacher. Like you're so muscly and like beat up looking and wild looking.
I'll say in our language, like, of course I'm a teacher idiot, but I'm assuming he obviously wouldn't know it. So.
No, he doesn't. He's like,
which translated into Iron Valley speak is.
Yeah, I would be like, which translates as, yeah, I'm a teacher of minds. It's one of the greatest pleasures.
I was waiting for you to just speak the language.
Yeah,
he kind of like looks at you and is like, "Oh, okay." Like me, yeah. He's just like, "Okay."
Yeah, sure, bro.
Sure, bro.
All right. If he's not, I get it. I was obviously.
If you try talking to him about other things, he might be more social. But like the guarding the school, he's not seeming to.
Yeah. I would maybe chat him up about because that contest was just the other day, right?
What, the chariot race?
Yeah, the one where there was like the riot afterwards.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago.
Was it a few weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, it's been that long already?
Yeah, it was actually probably like nearly 3 weeks ago, because it was right after the heist, which was on the 18th. It was the night of the 18th, and you guys are on the 7th, so.
Shit.
I know.
Yeah, I'd probably just be like, yeah, I wonder if they have because there was like talk of investigation around that, wasn't there?
Yeah,
like the people that,
he says,
it?
"Oh, I was called out that night. That was not a good time. I got punched in the face by an old lady. It was not a pleasurable experience." You wouldn't believe that those arthritis-y hands could do so much.
Oh, the bounty and hard, yeah.
Yeah, like at first you wouldn't think he would admit to that, but like you kind of charm him over a little bit, and he's like, "I did help apprehend some people that were the most boisterous and stuff like that, and then they went into the jail in town. I don't know what's happening to them, but I'm sure Lord Griffin will see justice done. He always does."
Yeah, we got right at the end, because we were down in the sewers, right?
Yep, you were in the aqueducts, and then you went to the palaces.
Yeah.
To where the
because Lady Lane wasn't there because she was with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys keep having her be places where she gets in trouble.
We're fucking troublemakers, yo. Yeah, we got just the end of it. My brother almost got arrested too. He had a few too many to drink, and he tried flagging down some guards to tell him that it was a riot when it was quite clearly a riot going on. And luckily, I was able to keep him under control.
At least he wasn't the one starting. As long as he wasn't one of the ones starting the fires.
No, yeah, that was. Has the damage been repaired? All of it?
It's still kind of getting rebuilt because it's only been like 3 weeks, but it's slowly getting rebuilt up on that side.
Yeah, it's always. It never made sense to me, the damaging of property like that. But I guess since I can't understand it, I wouldn't do it, so yeah.
With the stakes so high, will the party be able to have Felix come help them? Find out next time on the Guardians of Fehal.